I like painting in Hamtramck for two reasons. One, it's nice to paint outside because you can actually get a 360-degree view of what you're painting. So if I was in the studio with the photograph, it wouldn't be the same. I can get much more accurate if I'm actually out here. And I also enjoy it because I like to interact with the city and talk to people, and people will share their memories with me, and people will talk, and it's really nice to paint in a community like Hamtramck that is so diverse. It usually takes me about 2 or 3 days to do a painting, from finding the spot through preliminary drawings to actually sitting and doing it, waiting for good weather, and then a couple days in the studio always help. I've wanted to get out here for a while. Visually it's an interesting space. Visually it's an interesting structure. There's some brightly colored elements here. This handball courts, this giant cheeseburger. This is kind of the structure itself is both visually interesting and kind of philosophically interesting, right? I like painting on wood because I like the wood grain. I like to use the wood grain as a natural background. I like to have the wood grain kind of mimic the sky and the undulations. I think wood grain itself is interesting. I started using it out of necessity, and now I really enjoy using it. I get the wood from Home Depot, and I'm sure I make all the people there crazy because I look through every piece and I try to pick the pieces that have the most interesting wood grain patterns. I decided to paint Bumbo's because it is a kind of classic Hamtramck building, a bar with apartments on the top. It's that beautiful orange brick you see around town a lot, and I got a great shot of it sitting right where you're sitting. You can kind of see the whole building, and it's just a local feature of Hamtramck that everybody recognizes. Over my shoulder is Pope John Paul II. Hamtramck used to be a mainly Polish majority Catholic community, but in recent years it's become much more diverse with immigrants from the Middle East, Africa, Asia, South America. So it's a really fun place to live, and it's very interesting to live alongside all these different cultures. This is the St. Florian Church in Hamtramck. It's one of the largest structures in town, and it has this iconic steeple on the top of it that's ubiquitous. No matter where you are in town, you can see the steeple, and it's the backdrop for everybody's life here in the city. Something's got to be visually interesting, and it doesn't have to be traditionally visually interesting, but I have to be interested enough in it to sit, and I have to think it looks good enough that I will sit for the days and do it, and then I will want to look at the picture afterwards. Those are the baseline criteria, and you don't always know up front. You just do your best. We're standing at the intersection of the two main drags in Hamtramck, and located here is what we colloquially refer to in town as the Chop Suey building. It opened as a bank in the 20s, and now it's owned by a local family who are making it into a community art space. People ask a lot why I don't photo reference, why I don't work in the studio. And I do work in the studio sometimes, I do photo reference sometimes. But it looks different when you do that. You know, people have two eyes, and we have kind of a fisheye lens in our eyes. And so a camera sees things a lot differently than we do. So I feel like when I paint from photographs, it doesn't look like I was there. So I feel like the work turns out better if I sit out here. But again, you know, it's a bit of a chicken and egg thing too, because I enjoy sitting out here, or I wouldn't do it. One of my problems is overworking the painting. I think you can overwork yourself mentally in terms of academics. You can get too academic, right? And you can lose sight of why you're doing it. My undergraduate degree was in biology, and I have grad work in genetics. I was working on long non-coding RNA at the medical school at Wayne State. Wayne County Community College, I teach anthropology. They also have me down to teach biology, but I haven't taught that for them yet. I don't teach that much. I only really teach if I have to. I really want to be painting, so I'm only teaching if I'm having trouble paying the bills. It's just like everybody being like, it's okay that you're doing this. You know, because it's really just people's good nature that I'm allowed to do this. If I was somewhere else, it would be much more difficult. And so, you know, I'm taking something. I'm using the space and I'm using the community, and it's really nice to have people be all right with that.